What's up, everyone? Big show coming up. Our first time on YouTube. Michigan plays Villanova tonight in the men's basketball championship. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss a little bit about opening weekend in baseball. We'll also have some fun with the NBA coming down the stretch and all that's going on and what the standings look like. Currently, should be a fun uh, show, a quick show. Uh, if you don't know who I am uh, the host of the JM show over on SoundCloud. You can follow me there. I'll probably continue to do shows there. But I've decided I just saw YouTube had this new feature. I was like, let me check it out. I'm live right now at my school campus, uh, doing this show and discussing um, sports and the goings-ons there. We start, of course, with the big story, which is tonight is the men's basketball championship between the University of Michigan Wolverines and the Villanova Wildcats. Villanova, the 1 seed, blew through their region, crushed Kansas in the Final Four on Saturday. Michigan got hot late in the season, entered the tournament as a 3 seed, and won their region. And the clock struck midnight, and they were the ones that made the clock strike midnight with the Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean and all that. So that series ended with or that their magical run ended. Michigan was down late, but came back to win that game by about 10, 11 points. An impressive second half. Villanova is the biggest title favorite since 2010. Most experts are picking them. I'm just, and I know how good they've been. I just don't see, sports can always be so random. I'm hoping it's a close game. I'm obviously rooting for Michigan, as you can tell by the sweatshirt that I showed earlier. And it should be a fun game tonight from San Antonio. That tips at 9:20 Eastern, 6:20 for those on the West Coast. Which, by the way, 9:20 Eastern for a tip when both teams are in the East Coast. Obviously, you're trying to get teams on the West Coast or West Coast fans prime time as well. But both these teams are East Coast teams essentially. Michigan's in the Eastern time zone, and certainly Villanova being in Philadelphia, and a lot of people in that area love them. It is a late start for a game, but obviously you want the most fans, and you have some West Coast markets that wouldn't be able to watch it if it was any earlier because it would be conflicting with work that it comes on a Monday. Honestly, I think they should make the championship on a Saturday. I don't get this whole thing on a Monday. It should be on a Saturday. They should have the Final Four on that Thursday and then have the championship game on a Saturday just so more people can watch it. But they've done it on Monday for as far back as I can remember. And they do the same with the college football national championship as well. They do that on a Monday as well. So it should be a fun game tonight again. And looking over at the Odds Shark odds right now, it's around 7 o'clock Eastern. And the Odds Shark currently has Villanova as the favorite. They have scored 80 points in 10 of their last 13 games. Just an impressive run for Villanova. And they have dominated so far. Right now, Odds Shark is predicting, and they just, come on, man. They are predicting a Villanova win, as most everyone is, and it should be a fun game tonight between the Wildcats and the Wolverines. Jalen Brunson leading the way for Villanova. Villanova is so stacked. Michigan doesn't really have a star. They have Moritz Wagner, obviously, from Berlin, the German star that's been good, but they don't really have that household name yet that Villanova has, that teams like Duke had with Marvin Bagley and Grayson Allen. They're not really a team with stars. Their coach is great coach, Beeline. I said this on Saturday after I saw that win to the people I was watching it with. I was like, he might be the most popular coach on Michigan right now. He might have surpassed Jim Harbaugh with this impressive run. Certainly, I think if you looked in the preseason, no one thought it was going to happen that Villanova, or that Michigan rather, was going to compete and win the championship. Let me get those odds for you off OddsShark. Right now, OddsShark is predicting 73.7. 68.9 is the projected score. So 74-69. They have Villanova winning, but Michigan covering for those of you betting, and they have the total being under. Right now, around right now it is Michigan plus 290 and Villanova minus 345. So it should be an interesting look on the betting markets tonight. And obviously, I think it closed a bit since Saturday night when the championship was made official. But still, Villanova the favorites, but it should be a close game according to the OddsShark predictions. Let's talk a little baseball. Baseball opening weekend was this past weekend. Thursday was opening day. On my show on SoundCloud, I did a review of the what I thought the projections should be. The biggest story yesterday was Shohei Ohtani making his big league debut with the Angels. He gets the win, gave up a couple of runs, had a little bit of a rough start at first, but settled in and retired, I believe, the last 11 of 12 batters he faced. So an impressive debut from Shohei Ohtani, who went 1 for 5 in his hitting debut on Thursday when he was DH. So not really impressive the hitting side yet, but it's one game. The pitching side, though, definitely showing his potential, even after that very rough spring that he had. So it should be a fun MLB season, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. My Padres were swept by the Brewers, and the Phillies didn't look too good. Gabe Kapler already calls for him to be fired. I say it's a 162-game season, and a lot of people are predicting this team would be rebuilding even with the additions they did this offseason. Obviously, the people they brought in, including Arrieta, but they struggled against the Braves. Look at the Braves, they're doing good, but again, no overreactions. It's 3 games of 162, 3 or 4 games depending. A fraction of the season has been played, so I'm not going to delve too deep into analyzing, baseball after 3 games. It's more every 10 games, every month, so on and so forth, that you can project baseball accurately and see what's going to happen. And even then, April, May, June, July, it isn't really until you get to the late July, the trade deadline, that you kind of see who's contending and who's not. NBA, we are just a few games away, a few days away from playoffs. Currently, the standings look like this. The Houston Rockets have clinched the 1 seed in the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference still very much up for grabs. Toronto holds just a 2-game lead with just a couple games left over Boston. But the impressive run by the Houston Rockets to clinch the 1 seed. Warriors look like they'll be the 2 seed. Portland is the 3 seed currently. 4 seed would be the Spurs, but they're only a half game up on the 5 seed Thunder, and a game up on the 6 seed Jazz, and a game and a half up on the 7 seed Timberwolves, and 2 games up on the Pelicans, who hold just a 1-game advantage over the Nuggets for that 8th seed. Clippers still in it. They're 2 games out, and they're currently the 10th seed, but only 2 games out. And then the Lakers, Kings, Mavericks, Grizzlies, and Suns, their seasons are effectively over. They're just winding it down as they will miss the playoffs. Meanwhile, in the East, Raptors, as I said, have a 2-game lead. On the Celtics, and that appears to be pretty safe to be the 1-2. It just depends on the order, and it looks the Raptors not certainly safe yet, but look pretty confident to take that 1 seed. The Cavaliers are the 3 seed. They're 8.5 games out. They only have a half-game lead on the 4 seed 76ers, and a game lead on the 5 seed Pacers. So 4, 5, 6 should be interesting, and then 6, 7, 8, Wizards will best they can do is a 6 seed, as they are 4 games back at the Pacers. So that there are less than 4 games left, I believe. Let's say 55 plus 20 is 75, 21, 76. So there are, I guess they do have. There's 6 games left. So I guess there is a shot potentially at the Pacers collapse down the stretch for them to make the playoffs, or for them to make the 5 seed. But right now, and then the Heat are the 7 seed, they're a game back, and they're tied with the Bucks, and they just have a tiebreaker, so they would be the 7 seed. Bucks would be the 8 seed, and obviously, and then the Pistons are 4 games out for the playoffs, and the Hornets, Knicks, Bulls, Nets, Magic, and Hawks have all been eliminated, and it looks like the Pistons will be eliminated in the next couple of days. So the playoff playoff teams, I think, are almost set. We just have a couple games to decide the 8th seed. It's just the final standing, so we still don't know, and will be an interesting ride down the stretch to see exactly what those standings, exactly what those first-round matchups would be in the NBA playoffs. But, you know, I'm going to have a lot of fun. This is a great time of year. I hope you guys enjoy the national championship. I'm almost out of time here for our show. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at jmoney18c. Subscribe to me here on YouTube. I'm going to start live streaming a bit more just because it's easier than doing the SoundCloud stream, which I'll still do hopefully twice a week. And we'll probably kind of, on days when I can't get into the studios, I'll come to YouTube, do this, which is a little bit lower quality in my opinion, but easier to do and get out to you guys. So make sure to follow me up here on YouTube, or subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me over on SoundCloud at The JM Show. Follow me on Twitter at jmoney18c, where the discussion never ends. I'm telling you, we're going to have a lot of fun here. So the JM Sports Show is on YouTube. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. And if you're watching this later, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.